Hi, I'm Kamal. Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to talk to you about 5 essential books for the beginner or novice photographer. If you're a beginner photographer and you use these books properly, they will help you build a solid foundation in the technical aspects of photography and also help you reduce the learning curve to start taking technically sound and aesthetically pleasing images. So stay tuned. I've been an exhibiting fine art photographer for the last 6 years, and prior to that, for over 15 years, I was a part-time amateur photographer, practicing and learning and honing my skills. And having been a self-taught photographer, books have played a large part of my learning and growth. So today I want to share with you 5 books that can help you as well. The first book I want to talk to you about is this one, The Digital Photography book by Scott Kelby, Volume 1. It's a part of a 5-book set. You can also buy them individually. So this book, Volume 1, talks about the fundamentals, technical fundamentals of photography, and also it talks about in very plain English, very jargon-free language. And I like the format of the book, especially for the beginners. This book is nice because it talks about one particular aspect of photography or one particular tip or tool or trick of the trade in each page. So you can just study one page at a time, or you can study a few pages at a time, go practice that and come back to this book. So I love the format. It's really designed for the beginners. Definitely highly recommend this book. Another book from the same set is the Digital Photography book, Volume 2. In this, Scott actually builds on the information in Volume 1, which is logical, and also talks a little bit about different types of photography, landscape photography, macro photography, portrait photography, location photography, and there's an entire chapter dedicated to sharing the secrets of what the pros do to make their images look more professional. And he also talks about how you can build a studio from scratch. So I highly recommend this book as well, because this will definitely help you take your photography to the next level. Third book I want to talk about is called Understanding Exposure. In this book, Brian Peterson talks about the exposure triangle, which is basically light, aperture, and shutter speed, and how all three interact and influence one another. The first version of the book came out in 1990, and the latest version came out in 2016, which is the one which I want you to get. The latest version, which came out in 2016, it's called the 4th edition. I'll put an image to that book. This is the older version which I have. It's just proof that why this book has been so popular over the years and has helped generations of photographers understanding the basics of exposure. It's been around for over 30 years. Apart from the basics of the exposure triangle, he also talks about a few advanced concepts where the exposure triangle is no longer very linear, and you need to understand, especially when you start putting filters in front of the lens, or when you're doing night photography. It's also important to understand your sensors capabilities. Things like that are covered in this book. So again, a highly essential book for the beginner photographer. This will help you master exposure. Of course, there are more advanced books such as the zone system, but for the beginner photographer, if you understand all the concepts in this book, you're good to go. The fourth book that I want to talk to you about is very close to my heart. It's very special to me. This was gifted to me by a family member who is no more. I'll be eternally grateful to this gift she gave me before she passed away. This got me started on my creative journey in photography. Prior to that, I was focusing primarily on the technical aspect of getting good images, but this book got me started thinking creatively. This is the older version, though. The one I recommend for you, which is the one which has been updated for digital photography, is the A to Z of Creative Photography by Lee Frost, the latest edition. So in this, there are over 70 creative techniques Lee discusses and illustrates using his own images. They're very well illustrated using images, screenshots, and behind the scenes photos as well. And the images themselves are so inspiring that they will definitely get your creative juices flowing. So again, highly recommend getting this book. Okay, so the fifth book that I want to talk to you about is this one, The Art of the Photograph by Art Wolfe and co-authored by Rob Shepard. This is a very interesting book and it's a little different from the rest of the books that we've seen so far. This one focuses on building your vision. So it talks more about the compositional aspect of photography. He brings in a lot of concepts and he has understood and gained over 3 decades of shooting. Art Wolf, as you know, is an award-winning photographer with his own art gallery in the US. His images speak for themselves. There's a lot that he's learned and a lot that he shares through this book, which I'm sure I myself and many other photographers have absorbed and start practicing in our own work. There's a lot of basics as well, but it really opens your mind, opens your vision, and start asking some difficult questions. Ask questions in such a manner that you really start thinking about your work, and that's important. So once you start thinking about your subject, not just as a subject by itself, for the photographer, the subject truly is the subject and the way it interacts with light and shadows. That's one of the important concepts that he talks about. And there are many other concepts discussed in this book, so I strongly urge you to get your hands on this book, study it, practice the concepts discussed in this book, and you'll definitely come out as a better photographer for it. So there you have it, folks. 5 essential books for the beginner photographer. Hope you found that interesting and useful. So I'll be back with more videos on photography. See you next time. Take care. Bye-bye.